And the reason that I know that it's a real event is the fact that I can remember David Octoloni's procedure occurring. That's how I remember things. I link them to a full memory of something else. So I know when I've been brainwashed or drugged because I can link it to a memory where I was clear-minded. Growing up in a Freemason household, I was well aware that we were, for want of a better word, brainwashed to forget things, horrific things that we'd seen. When I was little, we didn't have television until I was about 8. And before that, I started to have some reoccurring dreams. I suspect it was after the first time I'd been brainwashed, or a series of times I'd been brainwashed. But the reoccurring dream was that our family was living in a cave, and the roof of the cave fell, and my father tried to hold the roof up and he couldn't. My brother went to him to try and help him to hold the roof up and he couldn't. And everyone else tried to hold the roof up but they couldn't. And I went over and tried to hold the roof up and I held it up. I would wake up screaming because the rest of my family were dead by this time. And that's a recurring nightmare that I had for a long time. You could psychoanalyze that and look at it psychologically. And psychologically, I've always been stronger than everyone in my family, despite the fact that I've been the youngest. But when I was at Wallandilly Council, when I was a council on Wallandilly Council, I was aware of this similarity between the Freemason intervention in our family life and was happening on council. One specific time, like I said, because the fact that I've never been drunk or allowed myself to participate in, what do they call that? I don't know. Drugs, what do they call that? Because I've never been drunk or participated in social drug taking of any kind, I've only taken drugs I've been prescribed, and I've never had any mind-altering drugs because I've chose not to. So, how do I put this? I recollect the time going into a council meeting with people before the meeting, because we'd often go in before the meeting, not arrive exactly on time, or go in for some sort of discussion about something else. I recollect going in one specific time and there was grey plastic tarpaulin on the floor in the council chamber. If you've ever been into the council chamber, it's essentially just basically a big room with chairs and the council table. Well, this tarpaulin was in the area where the council table was. And I just sort of accepted it being there. But then the next memory I have is the people that had come to the meeting, and in my memory, that was Rob Wilson, David Octoloni, Christine Towngrove, and Michael Banasic, and myself, of course. Now, Christine, David, and Rob were basically in one group. Michael Banasic sometimes went over to that group simply to play both sides of the fields. That's what he was good at, pretending to be everyone's friend. But though we were all affected by drugs or hypnosis or something, I don't know, but I know we were all lying on the floor and lying on this plastic. I have a few other memories associated with this specific event, but I won't go into detail. It's just things that had happened to me. A person that I don't know entered the room, and there was two people came into the room who'd been responsible for putting us in this physical state. Two men. I don't know who they are. I don't recollect ever seeing them before. But the only time frame I can link this to was the next time I went into council. I heard that David Octoloni had gone in for a heart bypass surgery. So I don't know if it was a link to it. But I certainly didn't have a dream about these 5 people being on the carpet, or however many it was. Just didn't count that. I certainly didn't have a dream. This was not a dream. I don't dream about such things. When I went into council the next time, the plastic was still there, and I asked the general manager why the plastic was on the floor, and he replied with a really absurd response and said something to the effect of, caterers had or were going to slaughter a pig in there. I don't know whether there was a message to him from me, or I don't know if there was a message from him to me.
I'm Jeanette Gale Francis, previously known as Wallandilly Shire Councillor from A Ward, Jenny Hall, Hall. I need to obviously repeat many times because people have apparently forgotten or don't know, because I don't have a lot of associates. I prefer to keep to myself. I'm an introverted personality. I don't like to be the centre of attention. But what I am is, in all honesty, I'm a goody two-shoes. I've never been in trouble. I've never done anything that's would be considered immoral. I'm basically as perfect as a person could be, in all modesty.